Hey everybody, today I'm going to be doing a review on the Maybelline Color Sensational Rebel Bloom collection. Now this is a brand new collection that has just hit drugstores, and I'm going to tell you all my thoughts about it, plus I'm going to do some live swatches, I'm going to have some picture swatches, and I'm going to have some dupes. So I'm going to bring you everything I possibly can. So if you're looking for a straightforward swatch and go video, this is not it. I'm bringing you a full in-depth review, so be warned. So if you want the swatches, feel free fast forward to the very end to see the picture swatches if that's all you want to see, or check out my Instagram because I already have the swatches posted there. But this is where I'm going to post my dupes and whatnot. So, the Maybelline Rebel Bloom collection, if you see it, you're going to notice one very prominent thing. It's not a winter collection, even though we have not even hit the winter season. These are very spring shades. So I'm not sure why Maybelline decided to release their spring collection before winter. So they're essentially releasing their spring collection in fall. This is a pastel collection. Now, like other Maybelline collections, they all feature one central tube color, and the tube color this time is a bright, pretty purple. So like other collections, for example, the Vivids, you had the bright orange tubes. In the nudes, you had those blush color tubes. So it goes along the same lines of that. Some people have said that the color of the tubes reminds them of lime crime, and I have to say it really does. I'm going to be doing two lime crime comparisons too. This is the difference between a lime crime tube and a Maybelline Color Sensational tube, and as you can see, it's that purple color. So let's get these swatched up. By the way, all the names of the shades are at the very bottom of the tube. You can see it right there. You can see it right there. And so when you have them upside down, you get a picture of the color on the bottom, and also the name is on the bottom, so you have an idea of what they are since the tubes don't coordinate with the color that is in the tube. So the first shade I'm going to do is Barely Bloomed. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It did require 8 swipes on even my own lips to come to full opacity. The shade was quite streaky and hard to work with. I'm going to apply it to my lips. My lips are in pain and discolored, but I'm just going to show you. So if you have pigmented lips, you're going to get a good idea now of how Barely Bloomed applies. As you can see, streaking right there. So with this lipstick, you can't go and expect to have the same coverage that you've had when you first put it on. But it is a pretty shade, which is kind of heartbreaking. Now the closest shades that I could find to this shade would be Blushing Beige and Stormy Sahara. Now they're not dupes or anything, I just want to show you how they compare, and these are two shades from the Nude collection. So the first shade is Blushing Rose. Here we go, here's Blushing Rose. Now this shade is a little bit darker and a little bit more brown base, just slightly. You can see they're really close though. The next shade is Stormy Sahara. Now this shade is obviously going to be much darker, but I wanted to show you it as well. I'm going to swatch it up here. So Stormy Sahara, much darker, just for reference. The next shade is Blushing Bud. Blushing Bud. Swipes for opacity. The next shade is Petal Pink. Next up is Hibiscus Pop. This was very sheer. There's multiple swipes, and here's one swipe. Huge difference. So let's see it on the lips. Next up is Power Peony. This also needed a lot of swipes to show up well. The next shade is Lilac Flush. I was most excited about this shade because I love the color lilac, and it's not something you usually find in the drugstore. Unfortunately, the shade was not nearly as opaque as I was hoping it to be. That's multiple swatches. That's one. So I have 3 comparisons to show you guys. The first one is Airborne Unicorn from Lime Crime. So here's Airborne Unicorn. Similar, but Airborne Unicorn is darker. I have Lilac. Much lighter, much whiter too. And then I have Lavender Whip from MAC, which is very similar in shade to the one swipe and also the built up swipe. But Lavender Whip is a little bit darker, a little bit dustier than this shade, but they are almost a dupe. If you're a stickler for those subtleties, you might not think they're a dupe, but in terms of if you were looking for a shade very, very similar to Lavender Whip, then this would be a great drugstore comparison. Next up is Orchard Ecstasy. I was really excited about this color. There's one swipe. There it is built up. Still kind of streaky. So now I'm going to compare to 3 other Maybelline lipsticks, just in case you already have these in your collection. You don't want to go out and buy a color that you already have. Or if you missed out on these shades, you can pick this one up. So the first one I'm going to show you is I'm going to compare it to Lavender Voltage. Here's Lavender Voltage. As you can see, it's much different, but I just wanted to give you a nice comparison. Lavender Voltage is much darker, a little bit more blue-based. Violet Intrigue. Close, very close, but still a little bit darker. And Hot Plum. Hot Plum was the closest in terms of swatching, but Hot Plum is a little bit lighter, a little bit pinker. The next shade is Rose Rush. There's just 2 swipes as opposed to 1 swipe. They're both nearly identical, so this was opaque in about 1 swipe, which was a good change from the other shades that I had worked with. The one shade that I can compare it to, Neon Red from the Vivid collection. Neon Red is a little bit more orange, and I actually like Rose Rush more. Next up we have Coral Burst. So as you can see, quite sheer with 1 swipe. So I have a few shades to compare to. Vivid Rose. Slightly darker, more pink based. Shocking Coral. Nearly identical. Shocking Coral is a little bit more neon, which is expected because it was from part of the Vivids collection. Dreaming Delilah. Sheerer, more orange, but close. And Lime Crime Geranium. Lime Creme Geranium is nearly identical. It's just a lot creamier and a lot more opaque. And last but not least is Peach Poppy. As you can see, once again, big difference. And this color was really close to Real Sexy by MAC. They are nearly identical. Real Sexy is just a little tiny bit peachier, but on the lips they're almost identical. And now my final thoughts. Overall, this collection fell really flat for me. When I first saw these shades, I was super excited. I thought that these were gonna be just a full line of super pigmented pastels, and the way they explained it as Rebel Bloom, I was like, wow, this is gonna be the most pigmented, the creamiest, the most amazing pigmented pastel collection, since it's rebelling against, I don't know, I mean, the way the advertisement seemed like, wow, they're gonna be pop. And then when you put them on, they are incredibly sheer, especially if you have pigmented lips. With that being said, priming your lips, using concealer on your lips, using a liner, filling in your entire lip with a liner, all of these will extend the wear of these lipsticks. These lipsticks were really moisturizing. They're not as opaque as other Maybelline shades. A lot of these were really sheer, a lot of them were streaky, a lot of them needed to be built up significantly. Now, in terms of spring collections, usually they are much sheerer. This collection did remind me of MAC's Fantasy of Flowers, where everybody was confused as to why all the lipsticks were lusters. But I think Maybelline has been a pillar in the drugstore makeup aisle, in that they have come out with very creamy, very opaque lipsticks. The Vivids, very creamy and opaque. The Nude collection, creamy and opaque. Even their creamy opaque mattes were creamy and opaque. This collection and their advertisements and how they're marketing it makes you believe that this is going to be a beautiful creamy matte pastel collection, but these just require so much work. With that being said, there are some great dupes to more expensive lipsticks, so if you were looking for something that's half the price of a MAC lipstick or half the price of a Lime Crime lipstick, this is a great choice. In my drugstore, these are $7.99, so they're about $8, which is exactly half of MAC lipstick. Where you are, they might be much cheaper, and that might sway you in one direction or another. If you're wondering where you can find these, I found mine in Duane Reade, which is owned by Walgreens, so you should start seeing them in your Walgreens. I don't know what other stores you would see them at, but Walgreens. These are not limited edition, they are listed as new, so I'm assuming that they are the new collection from Maybelline. They seem to have been coming out with a new collection fairly consistently. I feel this is quite close to the Mattes collection that just came out, because I feel like they just released two collections like bam, one after the other. I hope they're not trying to be like MAC, because that would not be cool. Yes, we like to see things by season, but not one after the other after the other. Anyway, so with that being said, the packaging is cute, the colors are very pretty, and if you're willing to work these shades, then go for it. In terms of wear time, they're significantly shorter than their other counterparts. I've only got about 2 to 3 hours of wear with the lighter shades, the really streaky shades, and 3 to 4 hours with the darker shades. The red shade, the Blushing Rose I think it was, that one lasted the longest on my lips, as did the purple shade, the Orchard Ecstasy, lasted quite long on my lips as well. These did not feather or bleed, but do, and I urge you, exfoliate your lips before you put these on, because these are completely unforgiving. They're extremely moisturizing, yes, but very unforgiving. So if you were looking for something that was going to leave your lips feeling soft and plush, this is your lipstick. But don't expect to put it on and all your flakiness to just be hidden. No, it becomes so much more apparent because these shades are so streaky and so light. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the live swatches. I hope you enjoyed the comparisons and the dupes. If there's anything else you want me to compare for you, feel free to direct message me on Instagram or add me there and we can talk about, I have my picture posted there. You can ask me some questions there as well, or you can leave some comments below. I hope you enjoy the picture swatches as well. This way you can see it on my lips in a, still setting. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe to my fashion/beauty blog and follow me on Instagram. I'm Recycled Stardust.